So it's wine time on the patio, and today I'm featuring some wines from Chateu Feely in France. So I'm taking a course through them to learn a little bit more about French wines, and I've been enjoying it very much. Chateu Feely is, again, a winery in France, and they are natural and organic, which is a little different than a lot of the other wineries that I deal with. And so I've got two rosés for this particular course I was taking. So I'm taking different courses throughout, and hopefully I'll get some sort of certification at the end, because I really want to learn a lot more about French wines, because they're a very important part of wine in general. And so I've got two here I'm going to talk about. So the first one here is called Sensualite, and this second one here is called Liverte. They're both rosés, or some people refer to them as blush wines. So they're pinkish colored, and that has to do with how they are processed. Now, this particular wine, the Sensualite, is done with a Merlot grape. So a lot of you are familiar with Merlot as the red wine. This one is the Liverte is done with a Sauvignon, or a Cabernet Sauvignon. So that is one, a lot of you would call it Cabernet Sauvignon. So usually a red wine. This is done in a rosé style. Now, I did my initial tasting with tasting glasses. So this is the tasting glass I use. It's very standard tasting glass. But to enjoy these wines, I'm going to actually use a dry rosé wine glass, because these are both dry. This one is a dry rosé, and this one is an off-dry rosé, which means there's a hint of sweetness. This one aged a little bit longer, and you'll notice in the color. So I'm going to pour the two of them. So first I'm going to pour the Sensualite, which is made from the Merlot grape. Okay, so you can get a little look at that. And then I'm going to pour the Liverte. This one aged a little bit longer, and it's also a different grape. It's the Cabernet Sauvignon grape. And so as we look at these together, and when you do your wine testing, you usually hold it over a piece of white paper to see the difference in color. But even with my Grinch, my Merry Grinchmas shirt, a lot of you know I also am a Grinch collector. So I'm going to be wearing a lot of Grinch shirts through the December month. But it's a beautiful day today here in southern Indiana, and so I'm still able to be out on the patio without a coat and enjoy the day. So I've got these two wines, and even with my shirt on here with the black background, I think you can see the color difference. So the one that's made with the Merlot, that was not aged as long, is a much lighter shade of rosé than the one made with the Cabernet Sauvignon that was aged a little bit longer. So you're going to see the difference in the color. And then when I was doing the tasting, of course, I found that this one was more dry, and this one is what you call off-dry. So it just had just a hint of sweetness, but still dry enough that I'm using my dry rosé glasses. So again, I did an initial tasting in a tasting glass, and the most common tasting glasses are called ISO glasses. This one is actually a Riedel glass, because you all know I love my Riedel glasses. Now Riedel has a lot of selections of wine glasses that I have a collection of, but this one is actually a different, I can't remember if it's German or Austrian company that made these dry rosé glasses. So they kind of come out a little bit, and these are really, I find I enjoy dry rosés the most in these wine glasses. So I've got two wines that I'm enjoying today. I'll enjoy them at separate moments so as not to get a little tipsy. But these are from Chateu Feely in France, and they have some really lovely wines. And again, they're all natural and organic, and their vineyards are gorgeous, and I'm hoping to visit them in person once we're allowed to do that again. So right now, of course, that isn't possible. But today, I'm going to enjoy some rosés during wine time on the patio. Cheers.